Tired of getting your arm slammed down on the table every time you arm wrestle? Do you want to know the secret weapon of one of the greatest arm wrestlers of all time? Well, get ready to be amazed because in this video, we're going to reveal Devin Larratt's ultimate technique for dominating the competition. But be warned, once you learn this secret weapon, your opponents will never look at you the same way again. So, let's dive in and discover what makes Devin Larratt such a force to be reckoned with. Who is Devin Larratt? Alright, before we dive into Devin Larratt's secret weapon, let's take a moment to appreciate who this man is. He is a Canadian-born arm wrestling champion who's been in the game for over 2 decades. And let me tell you, he's a beast on the table. He's won multiple world championships and is widely considered one of the greatest arm wrestlers of all time. When you watch him compete, it's like watching a master at work. His movements are smooth and precise, and his strength is simply mind-blowing. But it's not just his physical prowess that sets him apart. He's also an incredibly intelligent and strategic arm wrestler. He understands the mechanics of the sport at a level that most of us can only dream of. He knows how to use leverage, pressure, and timing to his advantage. And let's not forget his personality. Devin Larratt is one of the most charismatic and entertaining arm wrestlers out there. He's always smiling, always joking, and always having a good time. He's the kind of guy you want to hang out with, win or lose. Devin Larratt's technique. Devin Larratt may not have the bulkiest arms or the highest weightlifting numbers compared to his fellow elite arm wrestlers, but what he lacks in size, he makes up for in one key area, his pronator muscle. This muscle, located near his elbow and resembling a golf ball, is the anchor of his arm wrestling technique. Even if his arm angle gets totally opened up, Devin can still attack his opponent's wrist using only his pronation, a skill that has allowed him to defeat opponents who are physically stronger than him. Take, for example, his match against Dave Chaffee, who may have been stronger than Devin in every way possible except for pronation. Dave just couldn't get through Devin's insane pronator muscle, despite defeating his bicep, side pressure, and cup. Some may argue that Devin's arm wrestling style is unorthodox or even dangerous, but there's no denying that his pronator muscle is a game changer. Watching Devin Larratt's matches, it's hard not to dream of having a pronator muscle like his someday. It's truly an awe-inspiring sight to see such a small muscle play such a big role in his victory. It may just be the secret weapon you need to take your game to the next level. Now let's take a closer look at another technique used by Devin Larratt and what makes him so unstoppable on the table. One of the key factors is his ability to adjust his grip during a match. Think about it. In a typical arm wrestling match, the first thing you do is lock hands with your opponent, and that grip is usually set in stone for the rest of the match. But not for Devin. He's not afraid to let go of his opponent's hand and reposition it to gain a better angle or leverage. This takes incredible skill and precision because you need to release your grip at the right moment and then quickly grab onto your opponent's hand again before they can react. The importance of grip adjustment. Now that we've seen Devin Larratt's technique in action, let's talk about why grip adjustment is such an important skill in arm wrestling. First of all, it allows you to adapt to your opponent's strengths and weaknesses. Every arm wrestler is different. Some have incredibly strong hands, while others rely more on their wrist control or upper body strength. By adjusting your grip, you can neutralize their strengths and attack their weaknesses. For example, let's say you're facing an opponent with a really strong hand. If you try to match their strength head-on, you're probably going to lose. But if you adjust your grip and attack from a different angle, you can use their hand strength against them and take them by surprise. Another benefit of grip adjustment is that it helps you conserve your own energy. If you're constantly trying to overpower your opponent with brute force, you're going to tire out pretty quickly. But if you use grip adjustment to find the perfect angle and leverage, you can use your strength more efficiently and make your opponent work harder. Of course, grip adjustment is not an easy skill to master. It takes a lot of practice and experience to know when and how to adjust your grip effectively. But it's a skill that can make a huge difference in your arm wrestling game, and it's definitely worth putting in the time and effort to learn. In fact, Grip adjustment is just one of many techniques that arm wrestlers use to gain an advantage over their opponents. And the more techniques you have in your arsenal, the better prepared you'll be to face any kind of opponent. Devin Larratt's training. Of course, Devin Larratt didn't become a world-class arm wrestler overnight. It takes years of dedicated training and hard work to achieve the level of success that he has. So, what kind of training does he do to stay on top of his game? First of all, he focuses heavily on grip strength. After all, arm wrestling is all about grip strength, so it makes sense to prioritize this in training. Devin uses a variety of grip training tools, such as grippers, wrist rollers, and fat bars, to develop his hand and forearm strength. But it's not just about strength. Devin also emphasizes technique and strategy in his training. He studies his opponents carefully, analyzing their strengths and weaknesses, and then works on specific techniques to counter them. Another key aspect of Devin's training is variety. He doesn't just stick to one type of training or exercise. Instead, he incorporates a wide range of exercises and movements to keep his body guessing and prevent stagnation. This includes everything from weightlifting and calisthenics to yoga and rock climbing. Examples of Devin Larratt's grip adjustment. Earlier, we talked about how grip adjustment is a crucial skill in arm wrestling. Now, let's take a closer look at some specific examples of how Devin uses grip adjustment to gain an advantage over his opponent. One technique that Devin is known for is the top roll. This involves adjusting his grip so that his hand is positioned on top of his opponent's hand, rather than directly opposite to it. This allows him to use his wrist and forearm strength to apply pressure from an angle that his opponent may not be prepared for. Another technique that Devin uses is the hook. In this technique, Devin adjusts his grip so that his hand is positioned on the inside of his opponent's hand, allowing him to apply pressure using his bicep and shoulder muscle. This is particularly effective against opponents who rely heavily on their hand and wrist strength. Devin also uses grip adjustment to counter his opponent's moves. For example, if his opponent is trying to pull him towards them, Devin might adjust his grip and pull in the opposite direction, using their momentum against them. Or, if his opponent is trying to push him down, Devin might adjust his grip and push back up, using his leverage to turn the tables. Devin Larratt's secret weapon in arm wrestling is his incredible grip adjustment skills. By constantly adapting to his opponent's movements and applying pressure from different angles, he's able to dominate his opponents and win championships. If you're an arm wrestling enthusiast looking to take your game to the next level, studying Devin Larratt's techniques and training methods is definitely a good place to start. But remember, it takes hard work, dedication, and a willingness to constantly learn and adapt in order to become a champion like Devin. So keep practicing, keep learning, and who knows, maybe one day you'll have a secret weapon of your own that will take you to the top of the arm wrestling world.